Good evening to everybody watching on YouTube. I'm doing Codeforces problems today. So many black and white on the screen right now. Sound test, sound test. Maybe I will be a bit closer to the mic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope you hear me well. Division 1, I guess in first 10 minutes or so I will do Division 2 problems. And then I will move to Division 1. 90% of this stream will be Codeforces Division 1. Hello, Omar. I'm fine. How are you? I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch. Use whichever is more convenient for you. Yeah, I have some tabs open. I need to finally write it down. When I turn on Linux and I plug in my drawing tablet, it works correctly only after I do some tricks. And do I use this? I didn't use this today. Maybe I should write it down. Well, for now. Welcome commands. Welcome to buttons. No, I wouldn't not like to. Yeah, let's quickly do Division 2 problems. By do I just mean I will take a look, I will not necessarily code them. Balanced bit string is the first problem from Division 1. So let's take a look at this. Permutation forgery and array cancellation. What do we have? This is Division 2A from this contest, 668 Division 2. What an interesting email I got. You're live on YouTube. So hello everybody in the chat. How much time does it take to master DS and algorithms? You can keep doing that for 10 years and there will be still something you don't know. But let's say 2 months should be enough for you for anything basic. Blah, 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 definition of permutation. We define f of p. This is a bit fun. This is f of p and here of p. So in total it reads f of p as the sorted array of sums of adjacent elements in p. For example, here the sum will be 5, 6, and 5. So after sorting this, you're given a permutation. Find a different permutation with the same fingerprint. What you see on the right is I tested a little bit the AdCoder library. I compared, for example, speeds of FFT. This is, I guess, from Topcoder. Yeah, this is from Topcoder. This is testing AdCoder library. And in case I want to implement anything, I always start with some templates. What do we have here? You can advise me in Ubuntu, what can I use instead of Paint? Because in Paint, if I now type something, it looks very ugly. See? If maybe with a bigger size. A, B, C, D, E, F. What I mean by that is that if we zoom in, it's very pixely, you see. But if, for example, I use this tool, but I don't want to use it, that's because you can see the link and you can also draw something, and that's bad. If here I draw something, it will be very nice and smooth, very rounded. So what should I use in Linux to make drawing easier, to make drawing look nicer? Because this ABCDF on the left is much nicer than the one in Paint. Microsoft Whiteboard, I don't think that will work in Linux. Maybe Xornal. I think this should be enough. I think Simulios uses Xornal. Simulios is the guy who does various strange algorithms on Twitch, right? Like, he isn't in competitive programming, but he does some algorithms. I think this is similar quality to Paint, or maybe not. No, it's smooth. It's very smooth. Okay. Then today I will try to use this. Just I will remove the lines. But if I wanted to pretend that I'm in a school, I can type like this and it looks fine. He's the guy from Algorithm Archive stuff. Yes, okay. I watched some of his stuff months ago. F11 hides the link, but I don't. It's very bad if by mistake I show something, like if I exit from full screen, then suddenly all of you can draw whatever you want. So no, I don't want to use agi.io. Resize the Paint window. You mean that if in Paint, if no, Paint just doesn't have some feature of smoothing, I think. One note you can try, that's on Windows. I made now huge thing and I tried typing just like this at 100%. I tried typing when I'm out and there still is a difference. I have some questions about programming. Can I send you a message on Twitch later? I didn't even know that Twitch has private messages. What you can do is just, I guess it will be better if you just do it in any online forum. I'm good in competitive programming. 90% of questions I'm being asked is just about general programming, and I'm not good at that. Okay, let's try to solve the problem. This is A from Division 2 from a few days ago. You can Google the title. I get some permutation. I want to create another permutation with the same multi-set of sums of two adjacent numbers. 1, 4, 2, 3 produces sums 5, 6, and 5. Okay, then what about just, for much longer time I thought about drawing software than it takes me to solve the problem. You can just reverse, and the multi-set of sums will be the same. If we have 1, 2, 3 in the input, so that's sums 3 and 5, you just print 3 to 1. It's fine to use those questions for high-rated people, but I don't like the fact that this is the easiest Division 2 problem. For people who enter the competitive programming, should it be that much about puzzles rather than programming? Or maybe this is fine. The statement here is much more complicated than the solution, right? The output doesn't need to be exactly the same. Want you to review a project? Can you once look at this? I don't want to review your project. Twitch has private message. Basically, I want to ask you things related to IOI, if you can help me. Then why won't you ask on Codeforces? You can find me on Codeforces and ask me there if it's about competitive programming. If it's not about competitive programming, it's likely not worth asking. The short part is the easy giveaway. The short part is the easy giveaway. I don't know. How would you hide this fact in the problem that we need to reverse? I wonder if it's possible to solve a problem in polynomial time, count permutations with the same fingerprint. But I'm guessing that's NP hard. What about count permutations with the same sum of adjacent sums? Oh, then that's a funny problem, because it will be just about the last number. Count permutations with the same sum over adjacent sums. If you compute A0 plus A1, A1 plus A2, and so on, plus A of n minus 2 plus A of n minus 1. If you want this to be the same as in a given permutation, then here every element appears twice, except for the first one and the last one. So the sum is defined just by first and last element. The problem will boil down to count permutations such that the first plus last elements, A of 0 plus A of n minus 1, is equal some constant for given constant. They just need to be the same as for permutation in the input. And then the number of ways to choose those two will be something like linear, and like if this constant value is 3, is for example 5, then possibilities for first and last is 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 2, and 4, 1. So c minus 1 possibilities, assuming that c is smaller or equal n, and you need to multiply that then by n minus 2 factorial to reorder the middle numbers. But you know, the statement would be quite artificial. I'm not saying that it would be a better problem. Still, my submission is still in queue because the Codeforces round from today ended 10 minutes ago, and the queue is for sure huge. I cannot speak today. For keyboard and other questions, see FAQ. If you have questions about, for example, parade problem from my recent YouTube video, ask in comments below parade problem. Why not syn and cout? Why to use syn cout? If you're going to ask me why I use A instead of B, then you first tell me why B is better in your opinion. You're given an array with sum of elements equal to 0. You can for free move one unit from left to right, because I decrement first element and increase some later element, but it costs 1 to move something from right to left. How many coins do you have to spend in order to make all elements equal to 0? Then I will go from left to right, and when I see a number and it's missing something, I know I need to take from the right, and I will store some information, balance of the prefix, whether I need to do something from right to left or the other way around. This kind of greedy movement. Here, it's not that trivial sometimes to figure out all the details about implementation. Then, in those cases, I start implementing before I see the full solution, but it makes sense only in easy problems. Don't try this at home. We have some new number x. If x is smaller than 0, then do something. Is it always correct? When do I pay? I pay when I move from right to left. It's bad to move from left to right. But if I see here number 3, and the balance so far wasn't negative, then I need to move it to the right. I cannot do anything about it. So if x is, for example, 5, but balance so far was minus 3, then I can balance it out. Can I just say balance plus equal x? That will compute a prefix sum. I think that's a stupid thing to do. Or at least first I need ifs, and then at the end I will do that. Balance basically then means a prefix sum. And then if I have minus 3 and then 5, then do something. Yeah, if x is greater than 0. Log cancel. It's mean of x and minus balance. just like this. Not even close. If x is greater than 0, and I see how much I move to the left. If it's negative, then I get I'm doing contest from 2 days ago. Maybe if I have enough time, I will also take a look at the end at the contest from today, but that's not my priority. What's the answer here? -3. 3 will be moved to the left. So the cancel thing is what I move to the left. No. Nope. This one needs to be covered by things from the right. When I'm at 5, I need to say that read the question again. Okay. If you want the contest name, you can choose 2 different indices and move 1 unit from one element to the other. If I move from right to left, it's for free. Otherwise, it costs 1 coin. So, for free, I move from this to that. No. Decrement, this means we move from I to J. So to the right, move for free. Okay. Now, when I look at 5, when I look at this -3, when I have some negative balance here, -3, and for 5, is it correct for me to say that I will move 3 units to the left? Turns out incorrect, because it's better to use this one. It's better to first use the rightmost positive value to move it to the left. Because if I greedily move this 3 to the left, then I will need to also move this one to the left. Instead, it's better to move 1 here, and then eventually I will need to move 2 more units to the left. So, as if I go from left, I will just say when I go to negative balance, it means I need to get something from the right. So whenever balance goes negative, the value by which it goes negative, I care about that. For example, if balance went from 1 to -5, I want to say that 5 units happened. Maximized with 0. This takes me way longer than it should. Well, that's incorrect because this prefix says that I need 3 units and then it's +2, goes to negative, but it's fine. Oh, you didn't see the code, sorry. I didn't know it was possible for Codeforces reds to be stacked at B for over 2 minutes. It's all just about getting a wrong idea, you know. Then you try it for 3 minutes and what about this? What if I go from right to left? Would that help? For 1, I need to say you go to the left. Because I need to move you to the left. And you will be moved as far as possible. Then we look at -3. It's negative, so nothing happens. Then we look at 5. And I'm already taking value 1 with me. So this is why I only need 2 more. I was faster in this problem, you see? That's something cool for all of you. You see a problem where you can be easily faster than I am. Spoilers in chat allowed? Maybe let's not. It's fine if I struggle for 5 minutes. So this is +1, this is +3. Okay, what about this? I'm looking for the smallest or biggest prefix sum. Like, this is some kind of drawing. Like first test is -3 + 5 -3 + 1. And I'm sure that I can interpret this drawing in some way. And the lowest point is important. I think it works for the first sample. If it works for all samples, then I can try to understand it. Okay, it works. Why does it work? Obviously, if some prefix sum is -6, then I need 6 operations. And I guess then what happens is rightmost unit I move to leftmost position. Oh, I see. Okay, that's trivial. This is the solution. First, I move x units from position n to position 1. And now, after I did this, for proper value of x, every prefix sum is non-negative. And then means as I go from left to right, and I can for free pass units to the right, I'm never out of units, because every prefix sum is non-negative. Okay. I guess how I thought about this problem, I unnecessarily kind of wanted to minimize the number of both types of operations. Where it's important here to understand that we can move to the right freely. We can move a unit from I to bigger J completely for free. So instead of moving from position 10 to position 5, it's okay if I move from position 10 to position 1. He looks like hackers from the 90s because of the background. I think Errichto is trolling us. No. Did it never happen to you to just be stuck with something like you forgot a word or something like that? Even if you are a native English speaker, or just for me in Polish, it might happen that I forget a word. Similarly, in programming, you can be just completely stuck at something. You saw what I tried. I think what I tried was reasonable. Okay, now we move to real problems. Those were two first problems from round 668 from division 2, and now we will move to division 1. I will also post on Codeforces about this. Maybe with a link. Is it easy for me to get a link? Balanced bit string. Again, that's the contest. For a moment, I will leave my face down there, so if somebody joins, they can see what's going on. And for you, the chat, mainly comments about problems, please. You can, of course, discuss with each other, but I don't have time now to answer all various questions. But a moment ago you saw my schedule of streams. Why isn't it on the right? I didn't post? When you write a comment, the block should go up. Oh, it's here. Yeah. Today's Codeforces. Tomorrow is chatting with viewers and random stuff. So check out tomorrow at 5 p.m. European time, Central European time. And then you can ask all the types of questions. Bitstring. Given a binary string with question marks and integer k, you need to replace question marks in such a way that every substring of length k has the same number of ones and zeros. Let's investigate those types of strings where this is indeed true, and maybe there is some period there or something like that. There should be. Like every cave character is the same, I think. How to use this thing? Control left and right switches pages, that's nice, but what about the background? Plain. What's the difference between lined and ruled? Oh, I see the difference. Okay, I want plain and color. Is there something dark? Can be not fully dark. That wasn't applied to all pages. Okay, now it is. Hooray. You might want to try problem number 5 before the others. Actually, I know already the solution for the last problem, bricks. I don't know. You see how this link is marked because I already saw it? Actually, this is some kind of cheating. I don't know how that happened, but actually I opened this problem yesterday or 2 days ago when the contest happened. After the contest, I saw the standings I saw results of my friends. I saw this problem, bricks, and I also saw some comments about the solution because I discussed that with others. I don't know if I saw it before, but now already I know the solution for bricks, but for nothing else. I know a solution with, spoiler alert, with a flow. Okay, if, let's say, case equal 4, then if there is some prefix, let's say 0, 1, 0, 1, this has the same number of zeros and ones, then the next thing of size 4 must have the same, I don't know, sum of numbers. So this also must be 0, and there will be such a period. Every 4 elements, there is the same thing. So everything is defined just by first 4 elements. The problem becomes, choose k elements in such a way that there is the same number of zeros and ones, and then it's a period. And this means, because k is given, let's look at this. Actually, can I copy this to, I can. Okay. Of size 4. So 1 must be equal to this question mark. This question mark must be equal to this 1. And finally, this 0 must be equal to this question mark. I have such conditions. And then for each of items in the first k, I have some conditions, like either it must be 1. This is a case where it must be 1 because something in the future told me so. Maybe there's already contradiction, and maybe I can choose. So that's easy. Genie, please. I will overwrite ACPP because that was from division 2. Test cases. When there are test cases, I prefer to have a function test case to make the code more modular. When I need to read a string, that's a case when I would prefer to use sin cout, because there is no nice way to read a string. When possible, I want to avoid an array of characters. Generally, vectors are better than arrays. $300,000. Read this. This is just to make sure I'm not doing something stupid. For every character, this kind of jumps to this position. I want to know information whether this bit is forced to be 0 or 1. If s of I is equal 1, if this is 0, then I must have a 0 here. If it's question mark, then I don't force anything. If both must 0 and must 1 are true, then it's impossible to choose any bit there. If it's must 1, I made a typo, must 0 and must 1. This way I can count how many bits must be exactly this thing, and if this k is equal to 10, but already 6 bits must be 1, then that's too many. If 1 is greater than k over 2, or 0 is greater than k over 2, this problem for me was much easier than the previous one. Yes, yes, no, yes, yes, no, no. It's fine. Running on test 1. How do you not automatically waste time on DP on problem E? Because you need to remember the exponential number of states? How do you DP for such a big grid? And earlier Crader the Mundus said, "Hello, you look exactly the same as my old operative systems professor." Well, then tell him he's a very handsome guy. Tree tag. Okay, this will be problem B from 668. I'm going to grab some water. The water was closer than I expected. Some trivia for you. In Polish, the tag is called berek. The game of tag is called berek, like that. You say that you play berek or play berka. That's in Polish. Alice is at vertex A, Bob B. They can jump. and they have some range of a jump. Alice, when Alice makes a move, if she is in range of Bob, I mean, when Bob is in range of Alice, when Alice makes a move, then Alice wins, because she will jump towards him. So Alice kind of wants to get closer to Bob. I wonder if that means always she wants to get as close to possible. I doubt it. And Bob kind of wants to get far away, or actually there is some range surrounding Alice, forbidden range, where she can jump in the next move, so Bob just cannot go there. Let's do drawings. The stream was off for some time. Let me know what was the last thing you saw. What was the last thing I was talking about? Not that I solved the problem when you were not looking. You just finished drawing the notes? Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Dakotus. I was saying that in this situation, if Alice, the predator, is here, she maybe doesn't necessarily want to go as close to possible to Bob, because then Bob will jump away anyway. So Alice, maybe for Alice here, it's better to get to this hub node, a very important node, and then after this move, Bob will move, let's say, there, and Alice can catch him. So I'm suspecting that it's not correct for Alice to always get just towards Bob. That's the first thing. The second thing I said is that maybe we should think about Alice as the root of this tree. And maybe Alice will always go down in the tree. If Bob can jump over Alice, maybe then Alice cannot win. Something like that. Obviously, no matter the constraints, like here it's n up to million or something. If it's not an easy do problem, then for sure I need some observations. I shouldn't first think about an algorithm. It's always about some observations, because there can be polynomial solution first, some easy polynomial solution. I can come up with one. Like state is where they are. There are n square states. In some way they can move between them, and using this fact in number of states times the number of transitions from each state, in total it will be n cubic, we can do a brute force for every state to say if it's a winning state or losing state. Hello, Joyman. Alice the predator. Yes. That's why she's in red. Bob wants to go away. during a contest, often I would just look at some drawing and think about possible observations. If they have equal possible jumps, then Alice will win. Because Alice can always get one step closer to Bob, and Bob cannot jump over Alice because it means Alice will have him in range. So if ranges are equal, then we can think about it as a tree where the root is where Alice is at the start, Bob is somewhere in this tree, and if Bob wants to jump in such a way that the simple path would pass a vertex of Alice, he loses. So he can only move around in this subtree, but then Alice can just move one step closer, always one step closer. And eventually she will jump, we will be out of subtree, Bob will have nowhere to go. Bob is kind of forbidden in this case to jump over Alice, because then Alice will have him in range to win in the next move. If Alice doesn't get as close to Bob as possible, then Bob can choose not to do any move, and Alice will eventually have to get close to him if she wants to win. Do they have to make a move? Yes, in particular, either player is allowed to stay at the same vertex in a move. So for sure, Alice doesn't want to stay in the same vertex. And just like she doesn't want to get further away, most likely, or can she? Moving away from Bob seems stupid, because in particular Bob stays in his vertex, and it isn't very formal, the fact that if he stays then I don't want to be further away. But yeah, if he keeps staying away, I need to get closer to him. Okay, then Alice always indeed moves at least a bit closer. And I think that's also a proof why she gets as close as possible. Not really. I think we only have proof that Alice will move towards Bob. Let's consider this. There is Bob here. If Alice is here, and Alice has range equal to 2, Bob has a bit bigger range, equal to 4. So Bob can jump here. Then I think Alice shouldn't go here, because then Bob, by jumping over there, he can maybe win, because there, in that part of a tree, it's possible there are a lot of branches, something like that. Maybe. I'm not sure if that is the case. Maybe the solution just depends on the comparison of ranges. I think for Alice, it's okay if she just gets closer by 1, because here she will catch him in the second move for sure. So, but I assume that this lemma is correct. Alice always gets at least 1 unit closer to Bob. I think Bob will have hard time when this is true. If Bob jump is smaller equal twice Alice jump. Because if he gets in range, I'm guessing that in this case Bob will never jump over Alice. And then for the same reasoning as with A equal to B, Alice will win. If Alice is exactly A units away from Bob, then Bob, by jumping over Alice, he will be still in range. Like this is a situation like if Alice is here, then the fact that Bob jumps over Alice, he doesn't get outside of range of Alice. Sometimes Alice can be closer, can be very close to Bob. But let's just say Alice doesn't want to be very close to Bob, she just wants to be barely in range. Strategy for Alice is, if you can catch Bob, do it in one move, otherwise move closer by 1 unit. Then either you are still out of range or you are exactly A units away. Okay, then I'm convinced that if this is the case, then Alice wins. Okay, then our predator wins. I'm learning how to use this tool. Now, what about this? I'm guessing that if that's the case, if B is at least twice A plus 1, if the tree is big and it has a lot of branches, it has long paths, something like that, then Bob will win. But if the tree is very small, then maybe he cannot do really anything. And I'm suspecting the strategy for Bob will be something like, if Alice cannot catch you in her next move, don't do anything, just stay where you are. Maybe if you are far away from each other, you want to get to some nice part of the tree where you can make a lot of moves. But we'll see later. Okay, let's say Bob stays, but if Alice is in range, Bob needs to move. And then he can jump over Alice to also be outside of range. So it's only important for him that there are two vertices of a tree that far away, and he can keep jumping between them. Let's say those will be called U and V, or even in this one. Let's say that Bob has, is there a shortcut for this? Like eraser, control 1, control 2, no. Okay. If Bob has jump 5, then I would say that he can just keep jumping between this vertex and this vertex. No, it's not that. Actually, it doesn't matter what is the size of his jump. He can have jump 10. I only want those to be at least twice A plus 1. Because then Alice cannot have both those vertices in range. And Bob can just keep jumping between them. With strategy, if Alice cannot catch you, then stay where you are, otherwise jump to that other vertex. Okay, and that's checking if diameter of a tree is at least this. But what about the very start of the game? Alice starts. If Alice has Bob in range, if Bob is in range for Alice, then she will catch him immediately. Otherwise, can he always survive? Can he get to one of those two special vertices? I guess, right? We know that let's denote this D, lowercase d. We know that there are two vertices, D units away in a tree, and now from any vertex any starting vertex, is it true that we can jump to some vertex such that for you there exists a vertex d units away? Because we are maybe initially in kind of the middle of a tree. But then, yeah, I think it's true. Yeah, I think it's true. I know how to prove. Maybe the proof is a bit similar to the proof of algorithm to find diameter of a tree. You know, the one with two DFSs or BFSs, where we analyze where a diameter is, or actually there can be multiple diameters, and we analyze how any other vertex outside of diameter can enter a diameter. Let's summarize my solution. My solution will be if b is smaller or equal twice a, then Alice wins. If Alice can catch in first move, Alice wins. And otherwise, Bob. That's my strategy. Starting vertex. I'm looking at input. Should I spoil the last observation? No. If I missed something, I will get the wrong answer and I will try to debug it. Hello Pradeep, hello Hack to Death. Wait, you have to stop and think about algorithms? Instead of what? Rushing through problems? This is not Division 2. Not that I just rush for Division 2 problems. We already saw that today, how I struggled with something. Starting A, starting B, and I already called the ranges to be uppercase A and B. What will I do? Okay, I need to read anyway. No, if Wait. I didn't list one thing down here. It's more like I said something about two vertices being far away, enough far away from each other. Diameter at least twice a plus 1. By diameter I mean distance between some two vertices. I'm changing catch to win because I don't like the red font. I will run DFS from starting vertex of Alice. This way I will get all the distances. Then this way I will check if Bob is in distance. Also I will find the furthest vertex. From that, I will run the FS again to recompute distances, and I will check point 3. Distance of I is greater than this. Best is now the furthest vertex from vertex SA, from which I first ran the FS, or BFS. Doesn't matter. The second variable will be a parent. Edges, there is distance. What else do I need? Actually, I again need the furthest thing. If your distance is at least twice A plus 1, Bob wins, because he can jump between some two vertices. Correct for samples. That was fast. Can you solve an FFT problem on stream? If it appears in this contest, then yes. My plan is to do this Division 1 contest. I'm done with AB. Hello, Aminetrap. So I have 2 problems left to come up with solutions, and as I said, for E, I know a solution because I read some discussion about it. Now we enter difficult problems, so it's also possible that I will look up the editorial for some hints, or that I skip a problem and move to the next one. Make some LeetCode 5-minute videos. I welcome any suggestions, but it's best if you put a suggestion as a YouTube comment below some of my video, and then others will upvote your comment if they agree with you. Would the same approach work if the input was an undirected graph instead of a tree? I doubt it, because there are so many more possibilities to jump around. Just for general graph, it's much harder, for example, to find the diameter. So I don't think that general graph will be that easy. Guys, for suggestions or videos, put them as a comment so that other people can upvote you if they agree with you. Then I see what is desired by the audience. Oh, and also I've read this problem in a day of competition, and I thought, oh, likely some data structure. But this is, I only know the statement, I don't know a solution. You can choose index I such that at position I there is number I, and remove it from array. Then all numbers from the right are shifted by 1. You need to answer Q queries about if we only allow removing stuff from this interval, so everything outside becomes impossible to remove, what would be the maximum number of elements we can remove? Okay, we have something like that. 5 is removed, 11 is removed, 6, 8, 7. For sure, if there is a situation where we can remove both 7 and 8, okay, it's correct to always remove the rightmost element we can remove, because by removing something more to the left, I can mess up the situation on the right. Like here, at this moment, at this moment, 7 and 8 are in proper positions, on 7th and 8th position. If I remove 7, then 8 becomes messed up. I can never remove it anymore. Or maybe not. Maybe there is some counterexample to this. Maybe I don't want to remove the rightmost thing. Let's try to construct a scenario where it's bad to remove the rightmost thing. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there is, let's say here, 8 on position 8. There is also 4 on position 4. And can it happen that it's bad that I'm removing 8? Numbers in 8-bit can be equal to each other. If this is a case, then for sure I will remove 4, 4, 4, 4. Maybe now, maybe later. But can it hurt that now I'm removing 8? Can it happen that it's better to leave this 8 alone? It's kind of safe. Keep removing 4s. Thanks to that, eventually we will get a situation where there is 8 here. Then maybe there were a lot of 5s. And thanks to the fact that I'm saving 8, 5s will be here and I can keep removing 5s. But then as well I can save one of 4s. I'm suspicious about this lemma, but I think it's still correct. It's fine to remove the rightmost element we can remove. Regarding the previous problem, Samarth Gupta says, the cool thing I found in editorial was how to prove Bob can make first move and move far from Alice. They proved it with triangle inequality. Yeah, triangle inequality is also used in the proof of finding diameter of a tree. So I suspected it's something like that. In general, you can read the editorial after watching my stream just to organize your knowledge, kind of, and make sure that things are correct and with a proof. There is no option for 720p resolution. Can I fix it? But is it? I doubt that I can fix it. This thing on Twitch depends on resources of Twitch, and because I'm not a partner, I don't have high priority. Maybe if more people watched, then Twitch switches to more resources spent on my stream. You can watch on YouTube and downgrade over there. I think it's just green screen. You are free to think I have a green screen. Okay, assuming that it's always rightmost. Then element will be removed if it ever gets to its proper position. when I ask about this interval, and I have some, let's say, element 6 over here, and I want this 6 to get to its proper position. Its proper position is here. Then I want to remove a lot of elements before 6. I want to remove 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. If 4 elements before 6 got removed, 6 will be removed as well. Then maybe for every element there exists such start of interval that we remove enough elements. Yeah, well, maybe this can be done from left to right. For every element there is some element x here, and I know if this gets removed, if start of interval is at most 2. So if it's like this, then before x enough elements are removed so that x will be on its proper position, and then I remove it. And then for 6 it's something like that. What is such L? Let's say that this L equal to 2, this gets just to this position. The fact that I'm putting 2 here, let's say in blue, the fact that I'm putting blue element 2 here, it means that if L is 2 or smaller, then this element will get removed. And I can type it for every position. I can choose some value. Maybe for some it will be 0. 0 means it's impossible because L is at least 1 anyway. And now I have some number here. I know where it should go, so I know how many numbers needs to be removed. And then I need to ask about such L that 4 elements are removed. So I ask about 4 smallest elements. And I just take this element. I take 4. No, wait. What am I doing? Oh, there are also numbers here. Because now I don't know an interval. But that shouldn't matter. Still, it's okay to just take 4 biggest elements. No, wait. No. What happens depending on L? If L is 2, then those elements are removed. So you need to be on the right from L, and your value needs to be smaller than L, but then it won't be even monotonic. That organic compound in that background has an oxygen with valency 3. You mean this? Yeah, I think there are a lot of errors here. I think there should be another H in that formula. Okay, blue numbers means this number or smaller. So I can imagine 6 minus, 4 minus, and so on. How do I zoom? 0 minus, 5 minus, and so on. Okay, it means if L is this or smaller, then something happens. 6 wants to remove 4 elements. Needs to get 4 elements removed. Okay, just if L will be equal to 2, then I will count exactly those elements. No, I will not. The fact that this says 0 minus, it means that it's a very harsh condition. So it's more like with another color. Let's not care about red circles. If L is 2, then I'm removing those. And there are 4, so this is enough. I need 4th biggest number. Then how is it possible that we get new numbers? Or maybe something doesn't require any removals? And then I would just say that 6 can start from here and it's all anyway taken. What if this is a very small number? If number is smaller than its position, then it's bad and will not be used anyway, and I just put 0 minus here. Otherwise, if a of I is greater equal I, maybe this, a of I smaller than I, then I put 0. This means impossible. A of I equal to I, then I put I. I don't need other numbers. And if a of I is greater than I, then I want to take the difference of this. I take k equal to ai minus I, and I'm looking for this biggest number in the prefix so far. And I will do that with ordered set. Could be done with a segment tree. Have I ever done IQ test? Yes, but those are stupid. But I'm good in solving programming problems. This is division 1C. Okay. I also have queries, and queries will be in some interval count numbers greater than or equal to this. That's, I can as well, I think, ask about the prefix, because number in position 2 will not have number 4. Wait. Yeah. Number in position 2 will have number at most 2, so it will not be counted. Just ask this prefix and say, hey, we have L equal to 4. Give me the number of such numbers in the prefix that their computed value, the blue value from a drawing, is at least 4. Okay. That's easy. Either if I know queries in advance or online, I would do it with some persistent segment tree. Okay. I will first do everything with a brute force because I'm not sure about the correctness. copy templates to c.cpp and open c.cpp. If I didn't get a wrong idea here, then so far I'm doing fine in the contest. Do I want numbering from 0 to n-1 or from 1 to n? From 1 to n. For now, let's leave queries out. Blue. By blue, I mean, what is the definition? Blue of I is, let's say, blue of 5 is equal to means that element at position 5 at position 5 gets removed if and only if L is at least 2. No, L is at most 2. It's 2 or smaller. So it's more like L at most. Then this is a better name. If A of I, where is the drawing? If A of I is smaller than I, then it's all bad. Then L at most is 0, and we do nothing. So if this else if A of I is greater than I, then we take a look at the difference. And we need to say that many elements must be removed. So I want from prefix this biggest number. Sort decreasingly. That's just brute force for now. Later I will change this to ordered set. That thing can tell me quickly kth biggest element. But now this thing, if diff is 1, then I take 1. I think I will use this element. I'm not resizing something. Am I trying to I see. No, I don't see. If this element doesn't exist in pref, then it's just 0. Like that? Oh, it's very suspicious that there are so many zeros here. This is 0 because you will never be removed. This is 1 because if L is here, oh no, the 0 is not important. The first real element is 1. I think this should be 0. In this case, it's 0. Not I. Then 0. So if you fit still too many zeros. For this 0, for this 2, for this 3, for this 0, for this 5, and now for this 0. I bet that this should not be 0. If number is smaller than index. If number is bigger than index, then what can you do? Nothing. Okay. And this, I guess, makes some sense. Let's try to answer queries using that. This is L and R. Not really. L at most. Let's think. If I say 5 or smaller, then I'm fine if this is true. One sample, second sample. Cool. Now I claim that this is true as well. Cool. In my GitHub somewhere, I think I have code for ordered set. It was long time ago. Maybe I don't have that. Can someone explain a vector int? It's like in Python, a dynamic array where you can append, but also you can quickly access ith element. Oh, no, I didn't want to click that. I'm sure I put something here, because once I struggled with using this, I think, hash map and the fast hash map and using ordered set, and I think there should be code here. Testing solutions. No. Oh, templates. Oh, but I have only the fast hash map thing. I didn't put ordered set. Well, Codeforces. Ordered set. before I change, I need to copy the code. Just in case I mess something up. No. Insert. This is not templated. I think I need another less than int. Is there a templated version? I guess that's what I need. Int is fine. Don't sort. Find by order. I need this biggest element. That's not correct, right? Where am I? 511. Is it a multiset? Nope. If it's not, then I don't know how to make it a multiset, but what I can do is I can make it a set of pairs. But today, maybe tomorrow, I need to make it a template. And I need to learn how to use it with a multiset conveniently. Multiset is a set where you can insert multiple elements, and they will be counted as distinct elements. Insert a pair, this comma I, this is just to break ties. Now it works. Last step is I have this array and I have queries in some prefix count elements, at least that. When I'm in R, remember that there is query of this ID with L being equal to that. I'm doing a sweep line from left to right for queries in a way. Queries of n+1. For every query, for every R, iterate over queries for this R. And now, well, I can for a moment do this with a brute force, but that's not the point. Answer of ID is ans. Wrong. but instead of brute force, I want to know so far just another ordered set. Can I clear? Can. In this prefix, I want to count elements that are at least L. Order of key. Number of items that are strictly smaller than our item. Pref.order of key if I'm counting those of at least L, let's say I ask about those strictly smaller than this thing, those will be with first value L-1 or smaller. No, those are bad, and actually I need pref.size minus it to count greater equal, and still this inserts a pair. What's up, chat? What's up, ladies? Yeah, I think you won't find a lot of ladies. Using PBDS is bad in general? I don't think it's bad. But yes, it's allowed in a contest. You can make multiset with PDS. Andrew gave me in his GitHub, I guess, what I need. This is templated at least. And what do I need to modify? There's KV. Why are there two types? Why not one? Because I get the comparator. Did I get accepted? Yes, I did. But 800 milliseconds. Oh, the time limit was 4 seconds, so it's fine. With a segment tree, it would be faster. Those are just template defined, so you can do KV comparison. But what is V? Like a moment ago I had int and comparison smaller, but maybe I would want to use something else. Use board order static set of pair int, nothing fancy. Okay. So this, the first is a map and the second is a set. Oh, okay, I'm looking at map. Yeah. That's in the name. I was very confused because I thought that I'm looking at a set, and then what's the point in having two types? Cool, thank you. I agree that using less equal is a bad idea. I would get runtime error from time to time. So no, I will use pairs instead. I needed exactly this, a templated thing. So thank you. And to do, read it carefully and put in my GitHub. I will just add it to my templates, I mean to this thing next to fast hash map. Maybe also I will just add it to bookmarks. No, not this thing. Remove this one. But I liked here the definition, the number of items in a set that are strict is more than our item. I also want to have this in the templates because it's a very convenient and good definition. ABC done. Well, C is closer to difficulty to B, in difficulty to B than to D. Then this is the first hard problem. People keep recommending less equal, at least now in YouTube chat. I think it's very dangerous. Because this way you will tell this ordered set that to check if A is smaller than B, this comparator, you say that this is less equal, and then given two elements, 5 and 5, it will say that 5 is smaller than 5. That's dangerous because in particular now element is smaller than itself. I saw in the past sets or sorts getting runtime error with something like this. So with ordered set, something even more complicated, that's dangerous as well. If you want less than or equal, you can use pairs and an extra int in second. This is exactly what I did here. I wanted a multiset over first value, so I added the second value to break ties. This way I have a pair and I simulate a multiset kind of. This would all be much faster in C. I think in C you don't have like anything in terms of algorithms. Let's go. Game of pairs. First, splits numbers from 1 to n into disjoint pairs. Second, chooses one element from each pair. And second wants to get a multiple of 2n. Then let's think about it this way. We take the sum of smaller elements from every pair, and then we have an opportunity. The second has opportunity. If the pair was 6, 10, then by default we take 6, but second has opportunity to increase the score by 4. So if there is 6, 10, then I say sum plus equals 6. But also I forget about this pair and I have 4. 4 is a possibility of by what I increase the sum. You need to win the game as either player. This likely means I need to just figure out what's the optimal strategy when the first one has optimal. Yes. Okay. playing as second seems like easier programming problem, because then it boils down to, if I make my transformation like that, I will be given n numbers, and we ask, is there any subset summing up to a multiple of something, well, with a modulo. The sum of some subset of numbers must be of form 2n times integer plus a particular remainder r, or minus that, whatever. Is it that easy? We can use bit sets. It's knapsack-ish problem. It cannot be done better with a bit set. Then this tells me for big N, we always play as first. I might want to implement a brute force, where actually then also I need a checker. I need to implement some brute force that will play as second to check if a split into pairs is good. Then I'm actually first and I want to choose a good split to pairs, so that for second it will not be a good split. And from such a brute force I would get maybe observations about what is a good split. I think I see that Twitch discusses differences between languages. How would you solve this C question using segment tree? Well, you can ask how I used ordered set to count elements greater than some element. And yes, segment tree allows you to do it by changing some elements in a segment tree to 1 and then asking about suffix sum. Actually, if I get arbitrary split into pairs, then I need to use bit sets as second. But maybe I will get some insight, thanks to which I will be able to, in a smarter way, choose elements of pairs. So maybe I will play as second. Just instead of doing bit sets and some knapsack, and that's too slow. Or maybe it's not too slow. No, it's too slow. For 100,000 it would be fast. N square over 32. What if I split like that? 1, 6, 2,7, 3, 8, 4, 9, 5, 10. Can you choose now such one element from each pair that the sum will be divisible by 10? Easy. the split must be very regular, so that I think maybe my split as first player will be almost the same as this one, because here we say that by default the second player gets the sum 15, but he has a lot of opportunities to increase this 15 by +5. If he changes from 1 to 6, from 2 to 7, 3 to 8, that's +5 to the score. What if I slightly change this and it's instead 7, 6? That's just more opportunities for him. Okay, I need to change numbers on the left. So what about 6 being here and 5 being here? Then by default he gets 16, and he can here exchange to +4. But we're getting there, because those transitions are now useless for him. He has though 2 transitions by +4, so he can change 16 easily to 20. Maybe I can say that almost all pairs will be just regular like this, and I will shuffle the remaining part. That's my idea, but this solution would be a bit too easy. I think there would be more accepted submissions. That's correct. I will rephrase the idea. Let's say that we have numbers from 1 to 100. Then I say my split will be almost just like that: 151, 252, 353, and so on, and eventually 49.99, 50, 100. And I say almost everything here is safe, but I take a look at first 2 pairs, last 2 pairs, or maybe just first 4 pairs, and I try all possibilities to shuffle those numbers around, and I check if then everything is okay. From the middle, I know what is the sum of those elements. I can compute it once, and I know that every possible transition gives +50. My opponent will want number divisible by 100. I say I cannot get number with remainder 50 or 0 modulo 100, because with remainder 50 here he will fix it. So looking at this, I want to get any number, any sum, such that sum is not of type, let's say 1700, because that's divisible by 1700, and this. And here the sum denotes both this thing and whatever I leave here at the end. That's my idea. What is the shortcut in Linux to split screen? I think the same as in any system. Windows button, Windows key, or FN, and an arrow. Okay, let's try something with a brute force. And is the double value already? No. I have initial pairs. Let's say that I want to modify the first 4 of them. I don't know if that's enough. Or the last 4 of them. I look at the last pair and I take those 2 elements. In some vector, let's call it v like vector. I wanted special, but v is better. Pairs have those regular pairs. Random shuffle that. K means how many special pairs I have. Those are special pairs. I want to check if second can win. He has some possibilities of how to choose from those special pairs. I can, in exponential complexity, iterate over all of them. If this bit is on, then I take special of I first, otherwise second. Later I can improve the speed of this, but also for all standard pairs. Now, if this modulo to n is 0, or if I add n, like the half of the total value, if that's the case, then it's bad. My opponent will win. It found some split. For 21, it is not able to find. It seems that for even n, I can find good split. But n is half, so it doesn't have to be even. If I do this, then everything is special. One, 5, 3, yes, indeed, that's a good split. For even n, I have a working code. Just, well, this will be 4. I'm guessing that 4 is enough here. This this part I will move outside to make it faster, and I should be fine. But what about odd n? For some reason, I need to play as the second player, because there is no split. Most likely I need to understand why this is always possible for even n to split, so that we would avoid the possibility of the sum being divisible by 2n. Why it's different for different parity of n, and once I understand that, I will get a fast algorithm for the second player. Is he solving a live contest? No, I'm not. That would be forbidden. But I'm solving this thing, game, Codeforces round 668. It happened 2 days ago. Please don't spam if I don't read your comment. I don't have so much time to read everything and answer to everything. This thing I'm using is called Xournal, Xournal. Somebody recommended it to me today. I would be a simp for Errichto. Then I'm running to open an OnlyFans page. How much would you pay? $5? 20? I might make good money this way. For this thing, actually, we cannot split into pairs smartly. What? Please chat, confirm to me that indeed for odd n we need to play as second player. I don't want to look at the editorial because I would spoil something for myself. True? Okay. Lawrence confirmed. Player 1 wins if and only if n is even. Okay. I just wanted to get confirmation because it would be bad for me to now waste half an hour because maybe I had something wrong in my code. I can, before I move to getting strategy for second player, let me check if I'm fast enough for big N. It's fine that it's slow because I'm not compiling with O2. It actually will be 10 times faster. Yeah. Cool. Like, I will show you how fast it is. Instant. I'm new here. What are you making? This is competitive programming. See link in the description to see what contest I'm solving. I don't have a today comment, sorry about that. I'm solving this problem. You can Google the title, Game of Pairs, for this from this Codeforces round. Okay, I'm fast enough as the first player. So now let's try to analyze. After my opponent gives me a split into pairs, what should be my strategy here? For small n, I can do bit sets and I will get complexity this. But here I only care about value modulo 2n. Maybe BFS is some kind of BFS over remainders. Maybe something related to the parity of n or 2n. It would make sense. Like if set is bad, then the how is it called? Complement of this set is good. Yeah. What about that? Let's investigate. The sum of numbers. Is there anything special about the sum of numbers? 10 times 11 over 2. The sum of numbers is not divisible by 2n. That's the difference between odd and even n. This is equal to 5 times 11, and always the sum will not be divisible. So if I take first element from every pair, and I change it to second element from every pair, the remainder will be different. Yes, it will be just the complement. My intuition is that this is a very, very important observation, because that's something distinguishing odd n and even n. I don't really want to talk Polish during this chat because it's in English, you know. Maybe this is some string related problem, because my binary string saying which remainders are possible, it's a palindrome. Now I have a palindrome and I allow some shift. Do I have a Discord server? I don't, but maybe I will make one. I just don't want to waste time. William Lin has a nice Discord server, but I think that I would need to spend 10 hours on setting this up, and that's not worth it. Damn it. I have something. Let's say I choose random elements from every pair. I get some remainder r. Then I can flip it from r2 to n minus r. So what does it mean for me? I'm guessing that I solved 2/3 of a problem. Like, in terms of difficulty, that this is around 70% what I achieved so far. Observation is really very important. Yeah, well, that's what I said, right? You can try to figure out the pattern from inputs and outputs. I really don't know how I would do it, because With brute force, what I can do is always for exact split into pairs, for second I will say, okay, this set is good. Maybe if I saw all possible solutions, maybe there is something special about them, like they are related to each other. But during a contest, without any hints for sure, I wouldn't go here in direction of looking at outputs. I don't see what they would show me. I mean, I don't think they would show me anything meaningful. Should we watch a tutorial just after contest? No. In the description you will see my how to practice advice. I say what you should do. If I have a pairing, if I choose first elements, then it's something. I have opportunity to shift like here +2 because I switch from 7 to 9. Now I care about values modulo 2n. I have one possible move, switch to all other elements, and that will do, it will modify a remainder from r to n minus r. That's one step. The other is from r I can get to some r plus difference of I. It's just that when I do this, all the differences are also multiplied by -1. I'm saying something stupid with the first fact. That's what happens for even n. For this one, the sum is not divisible. It's like here, 5 modulo 10. So, isn't it this? If I can at the end switch like this, then it means that I only want to get number divisible by n, not by 2n. And maybe that is easier. I don't know why it would be. Does anybody follow? Am I correct now to say that I switch from r to r plus n? Where in total I care about values modulo 2n, but the fact that I can do this one final step, the flip of every pair, it means that, oh, so I mean I care about modulo n. Can you explain C again anytime after this? You can, read the editorial of a contest. Organizers for sure well described everything. It should be n minus r, but the conclusion is the same. Yes, n minus r. I see why. Because the sum is n modulo 2n, so from r I switch to sum minus r. But indeed, this thing. You're taking complement, right? So it's this minus r. Yeah. Thank you. If sometimes I'm referring to comment you're not seeing, it means it's on the other platform. That comment was from Twitch, not from YouTube. Maybe it matters that we have n opportunities. We have some lowercase s by default. And we have n values, d1, d2, d3, dn, values by which you can add this to s. S plus some subset of this, we want this to be divisible by n. And with just this setting, maybe it would be impossible, because maybe s is each of these numbers may be 0. But it had the sum of those numbers, because I switch from r to minus r, there is something special about the sum of those numbers versus s. From the initial value s, adding all those numbers, it switches r into minus r, modulo n. It's this transition. I think this is true. Modulo n, and n is odd. So this is true. This is true modulo n. And I'm looking for s plus subsets of elements di to be equal to 0. And likely, if there is no such subset, then blah blah blah, something can be proved. The left side can be split into, for any subset, the left side is s plus subset plus s plus complement of the same subset. What else is there? There is this well-known trick in math that if I care about prefix sums here, because there are n plus 1 of them, some 2 of them will be equal. I don't know if this is useful. But the fact that some 2 of them is equal, it just means that there is interval of values di equal to 0. Thank you, biggest Randall fan. Maybe I need to reorder this, like one S put in the middle or something. I think interval of the i's, this is very important. Okay, imagine this. No, that's stupid. Why should it matter that I'm reordering that? I think that this equation doesn't matter at all. But what will matter is when I look at this sum, maybe I can prove that there exists interval with element s equal to 0. How can I prove it? There is every prefix sum here. The number of them is n over 2. There are also prefix sums up to s, up to this, and so on. What's the number of them? N is odd number, let's remember. Is it? Yes, it is. But the number of those can be, it's something like n over 2 as well. In total, in the whole drawing, it will be, I think, n plus 1. I want to say that some intervals of values the I is good with S, without any other equation. I'm forgetting about what I wrote in yellow. But maybe I need to use what I wrote in yellow. My idea of interval of the i's already gives a solution. I can try to implement something, and if my claim is correct, then the solution will work. And the proof needs to use something extra. If, let's say n is 51 or something. If s is equal to 3, every di is 0, then I do nothing by adding some values di. If all values di are 0, then it implies that s is 0 as well, because of the yellow equation. But yellow equation is not enough, is it? If n is 9, what about s being equal to 4? d1 is 0, d1 is 1, and everything else is 0. Then the yellow equation is alright. Do you think a hot dog is a sandwich? No, it isn't. It's not enough to make a hole in some kind of bread and put some meat inside. Why don't I enable super chat? Why should I enable the super chat? See FAQ. In description there are frequently asked questions. I ask a lot of questions there. I don't want this, sorry. I also, an announcement, I will finish the stream after this problem. I will not do problem E. I know one solution for problem E because I've read the discussion, and that will be enough for me. So this is the last thing I'm doing on the stream, solving this problem, game of pairs. Am I able to say why it's impossible that all di are equal to 0 and single di is equal to 1? Because I have numbers, like for n equal to 5, I have numbers from 1 to 10. The fact that I pair up numbers equal to each other, it means that the last pair will also be equal to each other, modulo 5. There should be some property of values di I need to understand. For example, there is the same number of even and odd numbers here. What does it mean? It means that when I connect two even numbers, but that's modulo n, things are messed up. Can someone repeat the question? You can Google this problem in Codeforces and read the statement yourself. What's your current hypothesis on when you should pick first and second? That depends only on parity of n. I already correctly analyzed that. Is there night in Poland? Somebody asks. I wonder if Google can answer this question. Is there night in Poland? I understand that you wanted to ask if now if there is night. There is sunrise and sunset in Poland, so I guess that yes, there are nights in Poland. If you wanted to ask about the current time, you can just Google, come on. It's 9 p.m. I'm spending too much time on this problem. In a moment, I will look at the tutorial for some hint. I will read some from the top until I hit something I didn't realize before. But the current problem I'm facing is if there are numbers from 1 to 10, when 10 is double odd number, it's important that half of n is odd. If somebody pairs up some numbers, I mean all numbers, then after that from each pair I can choose one element. I need to prove that it's always for me possible to choose such element from every pair that the sum of chosen elements will be divisible by 5. That is half of something. So in other words, there were numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Somebody paired them up. And now from every pair choose one element. And you can always here choose the sum of elements divisible by 5. We like the tick of the clock, it's so hypnotizing. I didn't know you can hear it. I don't know. I'm still guessing. If it was the contest right now, I would try my idea of taking intervals of the eyes. Because I cannot imagine anything else working. So I'm looking at the editorial. Spoiler, there are 2 of every value mod 5. Add edge between values in pair and same values. Pick every other one from every cycle. You get 1 of every value. Okay. I don't like such... I never come up with such solutions involving cycles or something. Okay. Add edge between values in a pair and same values. Then the solution is much more complicated than what I thought about. I would not do it even in 5 hours, I think. 1, 1, maybe with different colors. I hope that I don't get one big cycle. 4, 4. Do I get one big cycle? Let's see. 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 4, 2, 2, 3, 3. Yeah, okay, this is one big cycle. Then let's try another pairing. Maybe just a simpler one. Connect 1 with 4 and 4 with 1. Okay, if this is the situation, then starting from 0, I will go to 3, then to the other 3, then 2, the other 2, 0, the other 0, and I have cycle. Okay, I see. 0, 0, 2, 2, 3, 3. The situation is something equivalent to this. I should thought about all of this as some kind of matching. It is possible to represent those values in 2 different sides we need to do something to achieve that, but I think it's possible. Now those pairs define some cycles. If I add also special edges from 0 to 0, 2 to 2, 3 to 3. We have 2 cycles here. And from every cycle I can choose a number, just numbers on the left. No need to make it bipartite. Or just draw an undirected graph on residues. The pairs are just edges and all vertices have degree 2. Yes, true. Making it bipartite just helped me, I would say, understand it better. Make a graph on 5 vertices. Yeah, sure. I see how to do it without that. This is mainly for understanding. But this drawing on the left, it just means that there is indeed, okay, maybe I didn't think about the 5 vertices. I thought about 10. This helps. 0 connected to 3. 1 connected to 4. Bigger drawing. 0, 3, 1, 4. 2, 0, 4, 1. And 2, 3. Yep. It's kind of clear now. And now just make all edges directed. And let's say direction says that we choose the next vertex. Okay, thank you. The interpretation with making just 5 vertices is indeed better. So thank you guys for hints. I would not solve it in 2 more hours for sure. It's not. I don't like this kind of problems solutions. And I went in that bad direction of analyzing an equation. Still, maybe it's there's something cool about this interval of values di. Or maybe not. Maybe it's okay to random shuffle it a few times, and every time in linear time I can check if there is good interval. I have no idea if one can create tests against that. Which is closer to the present, YouTube or Twitch? Twitch by 5 seconds. Twitch has smaller latency. Do I want to code this? Let's think. Because I want to finish the stream soon. I wanted to stream for around 2 hours. It's almost 3 now. This is not difficult. For every vertex, just keep 2 edges. So edges will be to what vertex I'm going and what is the ID of this edge. Because I need to print the output in some way. And if vertex is not visited, run DFS from it. And just go. I think it will be easy to mess up a pair of vertex to itself. So let's say that I don't even add those edges. They are resolved separately. And this, I need to be careful about this 1, 4, 4, 1. After you observe modulo n, you can kind of look at 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2 is solvable. I agree, this problem is pretty silly. I realized that 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, and so on is solvable, just if every element is paired with itself. Maybe I didn't really think about it. But I don't see how that implies anything further, something about this. So I wouldn't call a problem silly, but it's not my style. In ICPC, where we often splitted problems according to categories liked by every person. I would get, for example, geometry. I would for sure not want something with such a solution. You can change latency in YouTube. Yes, but this will decrease the quality. I think I don't want to implement it. Maybe tomorrow during the next stream. Let me take a look here. What? The first can just take those pairs? Okay, my bad. I guess when I started thinking of the problem, I didn't realize that I'm doing first only if n is even. I implemented something more complicated, and something easier is enough here. If n is odd, it's exactly this. Implementation is short. Okay, I don't want to do it. I understand what needs to be done. And then I'm finishing the stream. The implementation is pretty short if you want. There's nothing surprising me here. I see what we do. We do DFS and we go to the next one. This just tells us if we take a number or not. I'm too lazy and the stream is too long. Well, it's nice that this problem is solvable for odd and even n in different ways. I don't know if it should be interactive, but interactivity here is very simple. Yep. Good night, everybody. To sum things up, I solved the division 2 problems, A and B, then solved ABC. I was, I think, quite fast there. Of course, I made drawings, I explained things, but I came up with solutions quite quickly. Game of pairs, I wouldn't solve it in a few hours, maybe even. Thank you, Mangolassi, for help with the final step, and Andrew Eknerwala for other help, also including ordered set. And thank you everybody for watching. How much money did I win with competitive programming? Actually a lot. That's significantly more than $10,000. Okay, bye bye.